All right, so we are here with Alex Hall in Boulder, Colorado. We haven't checked in with him in quite some time. Alex is a new Spyder member just this past season, and gonna ask him a few questions and see what he's been up to. Looking back, Alex, at what point in your ski career did you feel like you were starting to get noticed and kind of put on the map?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. I think the first time I was really starting to get noticed was actually when I moved from Europe, where I grew up. I moved from Switzerland to the U.S. when I was 16, and just kind of started doing some of like the local events, some of the NORAMs and the Rev Tours and stuff, and made the U.S. team that year. And I think that's kind of the first year where I got some recognition, got a couple new sponsors, and just kind of started taking off from there. And then the next season I started getting in some of the World Cups and stuff. But I'd say when I was 16 was kind of the first time I got some of those opportunities.
Nice. And then looking at last season, so you had an absolutely insane season last year with some really impressive results. What was kind of like the highlight of the season for you, or like the most fun moment that you had?
Yeah, last year was crazy. It was super fun. Did a bunch of events. I'd say my favorite memory was probably winning the Atlanta Big Air, just because it was on home turf in the U.S. and there was like one of the biggest crowds I'd ever seen at a ski event, which was really cool. And I landed a trick I'd never done before, and there was like a ton of stoke. So it was crazy to walk away with the win on that one, and that was probably my favorite competition moment of the year, I'd say, for sure.
Yeah, was that weird or different being in an environment where it's 60 degrees and you're competing?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was super cool, like, because we kind of have a set circuit in a way where we like go to mountain towns or like places where it's cold, where most of our events are, and to like randomly go to Atlanta and have an event there. We were all having a great time. Outside of skiing too, we went to the aquarium. It was really cool to be there. That also is why it was one of my favorite trips of the year, favorite events, because it was kind of unconventional. So it was super fun to be there, and like the different weather, it was warm, and we were all kind of just vibing. It was super dope.
Nice. And we've talked to a lot of the other Spyder athletes, and it's definitely a really interesting time right now, and we'd love to kind of hear your perspective on the past 6 months and really what you've been up to and how your spring looked, and kind of where you were in March, and then going from there, and sort of your mindset going into the spring, into the summer.
Yeah, it was crazy. It all came to a screeching halt. I was actually over in Europe with some of the U.S. team, and we just got done with Norway X Games, and we were going to keep going and do some other Euro stops. We usually spend anywhere from March to May in Europe, and that was going to be the plan. And then within 2 days' notice, we were told we had to pretty much fly back before the restrictions got a lot more severe. So pretty much overnight, we went from being in Europe for another 2 months to flying straight back to the U.S. So I flew back middle of March, and then did a 2-week quarantine, which actually wasn't mandatory at the time, but the team recommended to us that we did a 2-week quarantine, so I did that. And then there was still a ton of snow in Utah. It was only middle of March, and there's snow until like middle of May there. So a couple of my buddies and I got together and filmed a short movie. We kind of a follow-up to a movie we did last summer called MAGMA, and this one's going to be called MAGMA II. And so we worked on that for about a month and a half, I'd say, which was super fun. It was a great way to stay busy, and I just built a bunch of jumps, got a bunch of shots, should be coming out this fall. And then once the snow melted, I kind of got into my surf vibe. I'm pretty big into surfing, so kind of just spent a bunch of time out in California, slept in my car, did a bunch of road trips out there, and kind of just surfed most of the summer. I think one of the trips I was in my car for like 32 days or something.
Nice.
just in a Subaru. So it was great, just a ton of surfing, and now I'm ready to kind of get the season going again. Hopefully, go to Europe and get some skiing in.
With how long have you been surfing for, and is the mindset with skiing and surfing, are there a lot of parallels? Is that kind of like your needed downtime through the summer, or is that just something that you've typically mixed as far as like cross training?
Yeah, that's a great question. Surfing actually has kind of been a new passion of mine. I'd say I surfed for the first time only like 4 years ago, but the first couple of years I didn't get into it a ton. I mean, I loved it, but I didn't get to do it a bunch. And then last year I really got into it a lot more heavily, and I did a couple trips out to California and ended up going to Australia with one of my good friends, Hunter Hess, and we did a kind of a road trip out there for a couple weeks, which was super fun. And then this year I've been super into it. I'm terrible at it, but it's really fun. It's great to have something that I'm less good at, because it's fun every day. I feel like I'm learning something new, and it's super refreshing. And I feel like I used to be super diehard and ski as much as I could. Now with a little more age and kind of experience, it's nice. I think I see that you want a balance of like taking some downtime in the summertime and just like having some warm days, doing something you're not that good at. Because then when I come back to skiing, it makes me that much more excited to ski, because I'm like, well, I'm actually pretty good at this, and I can actually like kind of do what I want on these skis versus surfing where I'm always learning and like messing up. So it's great to have a balance. I'm super happy that I found surfing to kind of even it out in the summer and the winter time.
Nice. Did you find any new hobbies? Did you discover anything new during the whole lockdown period, or were you pretty much still eyes on skiing?
Nothing too much. I got kind of into tennis. I used to play a little bit, but I haven't played in a long time, and it's super fun. Just if you don't need a huge group, you need one partner. Maybe you can play doubles, and it's super fun to just go out in the evening, play a little bit of tennis, get some exercise. And it's nothing I take seriously or by any means I'm good at, but it's fun to just shoot some balls.
Awesome. And do you have any other upcoming plans as far as getting back on snow? It sounds like some people are going to be heading over to Europe soon. Walk us through what might be an interesting competition here and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, I think most of us are gearing up with the team to go over to Europe for at least a month, kind of mid-September. I'm actually going a couple weeks early to film with one of my sponsors, Faction Skis, and hopefully get some shots with them. And then, yeah, we're gonna do 2 weeks in Austria to kind of get back on the skis, and then 2 weeks in Switzerland. And we usually do a fall camp most of the time in Europe. It's a great time to get all the tricks dialed back in and maybe learn some new ones too. And that's kind of where we started. And then with that, looking towards the season, I'm still pretty open. I haven't like made my mind up as to what I think's gonna happen. I think it could go either way towards we have a pretty normal year, or it could be completely different. I've heard some rumors of like some schedule changes and stuff, but I think nothing's supposed to be set till October. So we'll kind of see what happens, but I think either way I'll take it as it comes. And if we don't have too many events and a lot of those get canceled, I'm pretty excited to just put a lot of energy into filming and hopefully still have a couple events. And if it's a normal season, we get a bunch of events, then I'll try and balance both. But I think either way, regardless of what happens, I won't be too bummed with the outcome of the whole COVID situation, just because I think we kind of need to just play ball right now, and getting frustrated with what happens is kind of just pointless, because there's nothing we can really do about it until people come up with some more solutions. So
yeah, I think it's important to recognize that skiing's a great escape, but it needs to be done safely and in the right manner. So we'll see what unfolds, certainly. Do you have any? We were talking earlier. Do you have any new tricks that you're thinking about trying to get down on snow this year?
Nothing too crazy in particular. Definitely a couple rotations I want to work on, and maybe some new tricks, maybe a right side double cork 1440. But a lot of those ideas kind of come more towards the fall when I get back on skis, and like I've had the summer to kind of think about things. But I usually try to not make my mind up too soon and like get stuck up on one goal and kind of more take it as it comes. And if like one trick feels like it'll work, then I'll try something new that way. But as of now, nothing too crazy. I don't have anything super planned ahead, but definitely hoping to learn some new tricks. Always trying to progress my skiing. So cool. We'll see what happens in the fall.
Nice. And then you touched on MAGMA II. I know the first edition of it this past season won a ton of awards. Anything that we can get excited about for this upcoming one?
Yeah,
any fun stories?
Yeah, definitely some crazy things went down, but yeah, the first one was a huge hit, and we kind of just tried to follow it up with this second one. The first one we filmed in Mount Hood more during the summertime, and then this one we actually filmed in Utah with that downtime we had during when everything kind of kicked in and we had to be locked at home. So we were just staying at my house, and we were all there together and filming for this new project. I think we spent about a month and a half, and the last one was 11 minutes. I think this one's looking more towards 15 or 17 minutes. So we got quite a bit more footage and took a lot of slams. We were not prepared for some reason for the snow this year. It was just, we were falling all over the place, but it was super fun. Great crew of people. Hunter is the main guy I'm skiing with in the movie, and then our filmer Owen Dahlberg, who's amazing behind the camera, so it should be a great combo. And we're actually working on it right now, kind of the editing stages of things. And hopefully we're dropping a trailer by the end of the month. I think maybe early September. So
nice. And that's mostly urban, or are you guys a little bit in the backcountry as well?
It's actually mostly backcountry.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly kind of side country, backcountry, like around the kind of mostly Big and Little Cottonwood.
Oh, nice.
Couple spots up in the Park City, Deer Valley area, but yeah, just hiking or skinning up there and building jumps every day. And yeah, so all backcountry because all the resorts were closed. But it was perfect. I love doing that stuff. I love going out and building jumps with my friends. So with where I was in the season, kind of how many events I'd done up until March, I was pretty okay with taking a break on the events and just having some fun with my buddies and building some jumps and trying to get some good shots. So it was perfect, actually.
Cool. And then if anybody wants to get in touch or reach out, ask questions, any fans, what's kind of the best way for that?
To me, I'd say probably Instagram, just because that's the easiest way to hit anyone up nowadays. I feel like just a DM or anything along those lines. Try my best. I actually don't spend a ton of time on there nowadays, but try to look at those DMs every now and then and hit people up with some replies. So
perfect. Well, thanks for your time, and we look forward to watching you on the slopes this season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.